Continuing with our Get Rid of These Guff Player series on here on TYT Sports. We did Arsenal, we did Manchester United, and now we're back at it with Manchester City. Now, at this list, I will warn you, it is long, it's extensive, it is controversial for some, but let's just take the context first and foremost. Best squad, undoubtedly, at the start of this season. Richest squad, probably. I'm not really fact-checked that, but I can assume that's the case. And they finish fourth. Unless Manchester United score 19 goals, which I doubt will happen. They finish fourth.
It could happen.
Yeah, you never want to count anything out in this Premier League. So as I unbutton my jacket to get ready to rip into it, Jason, I have my list of players that Manchester City have to get rid of. Cue the eruption in the comment section. Hit it, Irma. Taking it from a lot of external sources and a lot of people around the rumour mill, these are the players that Manchester City will be looking to part ways with. The first three are definitely ones that people assume are on their way. Wilfred Bonny.
Old.
Mangala, disastrous. Simon Nasri, I think has to move on to further his career. Navas, no final product. Sagna, I still think Zabaleta on his days better. And in the bottom two, which I'm sure will cause the controversy, the core of this Manchester City era, which has went on to win Premier League trophies and went on to...
Trophy.
Definitely, no, trophies. Both.
They won more?
Yeah, they won two. Both of them players, Toure and Kompany. The famous Aguero year, and then, of course, the one where Liverpool gift-wrapped it in a nice, bright blue ball.
Oh, I always forget that because I give Liverpool the title that year.
Yeah.
Just in my head.
Many people do as well. So, the first person I'm going to get to, because there is many things that we could talk about here, right? So, Vincent Kompany, Jason, first of all, were you surprised that I put him on my list?
I was very surprised because surprised because I know how much you absolutely adore Vincent Kompany and how kind you've been to him tactically all year long.
Well, I would be kind to him in the games that he would be able to play.
Right.
It's hard to be tactically kind to a guy who's not on the field.
Oh, he's joking because he's never on the field.
It's sarcasm. It's a Gaelic word. Sarcasm. So I'm gonna hit you with a couple of stats here before you go really crazy in the comments and tell me that he's your captain, oh captain, my captain. Vincent Kompany this season, seen him start 20 of City's 58 games.
Ooh.
And he recorded his 33rd injury this season since joining the club in 2008.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 33. I was like, he's not Derrick Rose. Calm down.
33 injuries in that time for your star centre-back is no longer an option. You cannot win a Premier League without a consistent centre-back or at least a consistent pairing. Look at the teams that have won it in the past. John Terry, consistently there for Chelsea to win it. When Manchester City did win it, Vincent Kompany was able to play a majority of those games. He no longer can do it because it's not like suddenly his body will just de-age and that suddenly he'll just go back to the way that he was. He's now getting on a bit. He's no longer got the, I would say, the essential tools to continuously repair. They don't have a star quality centre-back. Mangala and Otamendi are just purchases to try and come in to play alongside Otamendi. They're no longer the starting centre-backs. They're no longer the influential captain-like figure because Kompany can't do it for the amount of games that he has to be able to do it. Look at Leicester this season. Huth and Morgan, just dominant centre-backs.
I was going to mention.
It's an accurate mention to have. So I will get to my list of players that they need to bring in, and a lot of them are centre-backs that I think that Guardiola, I mean, you don't need to tell this guy twice. He knows the strength of a back line. This guy was blessed with the Puyols of the world in there in PKs. And then going to Bayern Munich and building a good centre-back pairing of Boateng, bringing in other players to assist.
Boateng's strong.
Yeah,
and he played Boateng over.
Well, he did play with Man City and then he left, so I don't know if he'd be interested in coming back in that era. But what about Yaya? What did you think about my choice?
Well, that's going to hit the fans where it hurts. Because like Yaya is a fan favorite from everywhere he's played. Again, and that's just not because of the chance. From what I've watched of Yaya Toure, I've always found it amazing how in the midfield, he could be so patient and poised with the ball, but sometimes, just sometimes, it seems like he's moving at his own pace and the team is moving at a different one. Yeah. And he's kind of like a little bit of father time is working against him too.
You can't take away from how instrumental this guy was, along with like the 3 or 4, not as many more, there's 3 or 4 in the past that should go down in legend in Manchester City, and that's Yaya Toure, Vincent Kompany, Sergio Aguero, probably Joe Hart as well. Balotelli, Jason, of course. I've got to give him that mention for that famous
greatest
goal.
of all time.
But there's a few factors that come into why Yaya Toure's going. Guardiola. We've seen that they weren't best buddies at Barcelona before. And it's that triangular midfield which Guardiola is going to put in place. He's already got some players in there. I noticed I didn't say get rid of Fernando or Fernandinho, which is something I thought I would have at the start of the season. They've been unsung heroes for their mediocrity. Is that a word? They've been unsung heroes for their acceptable games closing up to the end of the season. They work cohesively together, not bad. They do a job, but Guardiola's going to bring in a star midfielder. He's going to try and get Pogba. He's going to try and get a Gundogan. He's going to try and get, as I will mention, with the players that should come in. So I don't think there's room for Yaya anymore because he upsets that triangular midfield. You noticed it against Real Madrid in the second leg. He works, as you said, he's on pace. He doesn't pressure with the midfield. He's no longer got the legs to get back up and down the way he used to do it. And when he played with Barcelona, he never fit into that triangular midfield as well as the pieces of Xavi and Iniesta, those guys that were just able to fit into that role. And he played a holding midfielder role there. And I think that was when his legs were firmly still able to get himself up and down the field, but he still likes to work within his own realm. He doesn't like to work within the structure, and it works for Manchester City when he's able to get up and down the field, and when he's able to do those majestic things when he gets the ball at the edge of the box and pings it in from 30 plus. But it's not in the cards anymore for Yaya. It's not in the cards in that system if Guardiola wants to put it in place.
Seems like they need to just move on.
Yes, very, very true.
And who do they move on to?
Let's roll the list of players that I think Manchester City should be looking at in the summer. Whoa! So I hope they have their pockets full of cash, which they do, and I hope they're ready to make some big bids. Varane will not go easily, but as of recent, we see Pepe and Ramos forming a very consistent centre-back pairing at Real Madrid. You could get him for cheap. He could be the leader that could grow into be the stalwart of that defence. Very similar to Bonucci at the bottom. But Juventus have withheld Bonucci from going to join Italy's team early because he is suspended for their final Italian Cup game. But Juventus will not let him join the team. So there may be a little bit of friction there. I'm not trying to create any rumours. He is a Juventus faithful. But, I mean, he's played a good part of his career there. I think he could be interested in a move for a new challenge, especially with Guardiola's name holding that weight.
I look at the list and I can think that an Aubameyang-Aguero pairing, you don't even need. You could probably play with only two guys in the back four.
Just Joe Hart?
You just have Joe Hart. It's fine. If you sign someone like that, I think you make the points. I think they're pretty clear. I think you not have to worry about the Aubameyangs of the world. I think you have scoring. You have Kevin De Bruyne, who's a wizard. You have Aguero. You have guys who can get the ball in the back of the net. If you're gonna have to worry about defense, then you got to sign somebody, or defenders. You have to sign someone that's gonna stay healthy throughout the whole year.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, and I think
and is not Otamendi.
Yeah, we've been harsh critics of Otamendi. Otamendi plays not bad alongside Kompany, but he is a loose cannon. He is like a kid
Not
wandering in a
bad,
playground.
does not win
Yes,
titles.
exactly. It doesn't. You need to have great defensive chemistry. Same with any good team. Is you need good centre-back pairings, and they don't have to be the best. I've seen teams win Premier Leagues with centre-back pairings that weren't of the highest caliber, but they work well together. I always remember when Ricardo Carvalho, who I highly rated as one of the best defenders I've ever seen, he played so well with John Terry at the back there because John Terry would go, do the nitty-gritty, win the ball, Carvalho would sit back. You get Mangala and Otamendi, who as I always mentioned, two wild hyenas who just want to go and hunt for that ball. And they don't have the maturity to sit back.
You have a lot of animals on this team because you said the wild hyenas, and then also Fernandinho is a chicken with his head cut off.
Yes, he was a chicken with his head cut off. And you
have a very interesting pack in this field.
There's a very interesting farm that goes on in Manchester City. So those are the players, as I just briefly run through the players at the end. We'll give them more extensive research after the Euros because that's a major shop window. That's where the players are going to be putting themselves in there to try and get signed by the bigger teams like Manchester City. But expect to see bids for Gundogan, expect to see bids for Morata, who apparently may be on the move as well from Juventus. I think Manchester City are circling the pond as well as Manchester United for him. But as you hit the nail on the head, Jason, it's not exactly the strikers that they need to bring in. They want to add more goals, add more power up there alongside Aguero, but they need a centre-back and they need a centre midfielder. Go out, if you're a Man City fan, and just blow all your cash on a Varane and a Pogba and watch them potentially win the Premier League next season with Guardiola in charge. Hit us in the comments, what did you think? Are you shocked that I would cut Yaya Toure and company? Hit us in the comments. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.